For my project, I did a Twitter analysis of the hashtag World Mental Health Day. Mental health is a topic that is shrouded with stigma, but that everyone has to deal with, just like physical health. 20% of American adults experience a mental illness within a given year, yet many do not seek treatment for their mental health problems. Untreated mental health problems can lead to significant issues, such as financial burden, hospitalization, and even suicide. The purpose of this project is to analyze what's being said about mental health by examining the hashtag World Mental Health Day. Common themes will be examined to determine what parts of mental health are getting the most attention. We also want to determine where these conversations are taking place geographically. So I gathered tweets using Tweet Archivist using the hashtag World Mental Health Day, and also just a regular search using those terms, World Mental Health. That resulted in over 7,000 tweets, which I then randomly selected 250 of to analyze. I cleaned the tweets in a Word document and then put them into Word Cloud software, which gave us this result. And as we can see, the majority of the words here are positive. We have a large OK, people, and help, and those are all prominent words. And then we also have some negative words, stigma, depression, and anxiety. But those are a lot smaller than the positive words, which means that they were used less frequently. So I looked for predominant themes when I was coding, and I first categorized into two groups, mental illness and mental wellness. And my requirements for mental illness were if it was a diagnosable disease, such as PTSD, depression, or anxiety. So overall, there are only 28 mentions of mental illness and 102 mentions of mental wellness. Some other things that came up, predominant themes were it's okay, you're not alone, social support is important, and methods to help. There were some mentions of stigma and a lot of sharing of personal stories, the importance of employee health, and celebrities who support mental health care, such as Deepika, Carrie Fisher, and Lady Gaga. This is showing the map of all 7,000 tweets. So as you can see, they're spread out all over the globe, but most predominantly in the US and in Europe. You can also see though that there are a lot in India, and some in Africa and some in South America, as well as some in Australia. So this gives a good picture of where all of the tweets came from. What might be more relevant to note is where the majority of these conversations are happening. So this is the heat map of all 7,000 tweets. So you can see that it's predominantly in Europe and in the US. And the reason I like this is that it shows where they're most prevalent, but the last map shows that they are talking about it in other places, it just might not be as much. And finally, this last map is showing the heat map of just the 250 tweets that I analyzed. And I thought it was important to include this to show how representative the sample I analyzed was comparative to the 7,000 tweets. And so you can see I'm still getting a majority in the US and Europe, and a good smattering of other tweets in South America. So in conclusion, workplace mental health can be improved, and there's a supportive community surrounding mental health. There might be low external validity. These tweets might not be generalizable to everyone, especially if they're using this hashtag. They might already be interested in this topic, and we need to try to make this a more global conversation.